Adam, what's the most common mistake you see small business owners make?
It's a good question. I think small business owners think that they can do everything themselves. And that's hard to wear all the hats all the time and continue to grow.
So when you're talking to a small business owner who, wears all those hats, how can you tell? What are the symptoms? What are the ways that comes across almost immediately that it's not working?
Time management, struggling to grow your business, the feeling of burnout, that comes across a lot, especially when we're talking to business owners that we work with to sell their business.
Yeah. So, that leads us into, we'll have Adam introduce himself. But first off, we want to welcome you back to another episode of Hard Conversations. You have me, Jason Roberson, Robo, Mr. Jeff Black joining us as well. And then Jason Theobald, Scooby, is out today. He's not able to join us, hoping to have him back soon. He is in the middle of prep for his next show, making a big comeback. And so he's probably in a world of hurt that we don't even want to imagine.
Those 1,000-calorie days hurting him probably real hard.
Yeah. But Adam, tell us a little bit about, what you do, what your background is.
Sure. I am one of the owners of Nashville Business Brokers here in Nashville, Tennessee. We smell terrible.
We smell terrible.
Yeah, it's a little bit hot in Nashville.
Yeah. No, we sell small to medium-sized mid-market businesses, your mom and pop shops, Main Street businesses, pretty much throughout the Southeast. Have for a decade now. So.
Yeah. So
how the hell did you get in?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
That was going to be my next one.
Yeah. Where the hell did this come from?
So my business partner, Patrick Marsh, his dad was a business broker in San Diego, and Patrick had gone to work for him. And I had moved out here to Nashville, Tennessee, working a job in outside sales for a logistics company. Patrick called me up one day and goes, "Hey, find a business broker to work for." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "I'm moving out there and we're starting a business brokerage." I was like, "I don't know what the hell that is, but sure, I'll give it a go. We'll start a business." Went on Craigslist and searched jobs. I was like, how am I going to find a business broker position? I don't even know what this is, right? And sure enough, National Restaurant Properties was hiring business broker position, selling bars, restaurants, food and beverage. So I interviewed, went and got my real estate license and got the job and worked with him for about a year and a half. And then Patrick moved out here and we opened up shop.
Yeah. So I see what we'll talk about today is kind of a two-pronged approach. One is that, full disclosure, I work with Adam. So I know him well. We see a lot of the same issues. I want to talk about the issues we see with small businesses, how they can improve, where they're struggling at. The other piece I want to talk to is people who specifically own small businesses and you're looking at an exit strategy. One, how do you even think about that? And then two, where do you go to get help? How do you find people like Adam and I? And how do you avoid the scam artists? Because our industry is the Wild West. There's crazy stuff happening.
Personal training industry is not regulated. That's why I asked.
So in about 11 or 13 states, you have to be regulated by the real estate commission. So if I wanted to sell a business in California, I couldn't. I don't have a real estate license in that state.
Okay.
Other handful of states do that as well. Tennessee is kind of the Wild West. There are a lot of pop-up, garage brokers is what I call them. And we've seen them all over the years. And, being one of the larger firms in the Southeast, you definitely hear that feedback because people that come to you have already probably talked to another business broker. They're looking for best price in town or, open listings or whatever it is. And, we may not be the cheapest, but we're the best. So you hear all the stories of these other garage brokers that you're just like, man, this is a one-man shop. I hope he does all right. But, who's holding him to a code of ethics? How's he learning to do this? What does he have in place? So that's a thing we come across often.
And talk about a little bit about gaining the knowledge to do it. Like, what did that take? How did you gain that knowledge? Because you came into it from ground zero. Is it just doing it over and over, trial and error?
Yeah, to some degree. I mean, getting thrown in the fire, you came from it, even though you did have a little bit more of an experience and background in the M&A.
What's M&A?
Mergers and acquisitions.
Okay, see, we gotta talk like Jeff Black talk on this.
Yeah,
not so high.
So I did mergers and acquisitions for a large company, buying businesses to integrate in or selling small business units within that company.
Yeah, I know it got you a whole year paid for to hang out.
Ooh, yeah, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that time in your life.
Yeah.
What was the question? Sorry.
No, just how did you build the knowledge and experience to where you're at now?
Sure. Getting into it with the first brokerage I worked for, definitely learned kind of industry standards. They were a franchise, so they had systems in place. We were once a franchise, and Patrick had a couple years knowledge coming into that. We've definitely leaned on his dad over the years because he was in this industry for much longer than we were. And just educating yourself on small business, educating yourself on financials. Having the entrepreneur spirit myself, it was easy to understand the pitfalls of entrepreneurs, or when you see a great business, you can identify those key factors that are like, wow, that's really what made that a great business. And there's these characteristics. So just education and time.
Is there any books that you read along the way? I'm a big book reader. I know Robo is.
That.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I'm in my own library. Is there anything you read along the way that was like, oh, that's helpful, or that was complete shit? I don't agree with what they said.
There's not a lot of books out there on business brokerage.
Oh, really?
There's really not.
How come you guys don't write one yet and like get a master class going?
You want to teach someone how to take your job or compete with you?
Well, I mean, I'll go ahead and bring up my point to that. Good topic.
Yeah.
Look at Nick Saban. He's like he was 33-4 against his assistants. Just because you saw Alabama doesn't mean you can replicate it.
Yeah.
That was kind of my thought to business. But I get that. I don't know enough about your all's industry to know that. So
We are a
business
small
brokerage has
niche.
okay.
There's not a lot of business brokers. If you think residential real estate agents or real estate agents in general, I think Middle Tennessee has 46,000 registered agents, something like that.
shit.
I mean, it's
We're two of them.
yeah. I am one, but I do it because we sell businesses with property. So there's only a handful of business brokerages in the country. I think there's maybe 5,000 business brokers, maybe a little bit more by now. So that is not a big population and a big industry for people to get into. So, the competition can get real steep real fast if we start educating people on it. So to answer your question, no. I read these books on how to sell a restaurant by this, I can't even remember the guy's name. It's been 10 years since I read it. And as I'm reading through it, I'm like, well, these are pretty dated, like topic points, right? And like the industry's changed and markets are different. So what he may be doing in Charleston is completely different in Nashville versus San Diego or New York. The markets are just different. So, along the way, I just took in business books and read what I could, and educating myself through the IBBA and all these different industries that are part of what we do. They really do give some feedback, and there's, virtual classes that you can take on their stuff. And then just getting thrown into the fire. That's the education.
Just going off of Adam's point, I look at it as we're actually serving the buyers and sellers. We're not serving other business brokers. It's just not our market. That's not our target. Our target is buyers and sellers. And so if we were to write a book to brokers, it's almost an entirely different avenue or entirely different approach than what we do day in and day out. There's people who write books, on how to sell your business. There's people who, try and market themselves as gurus in that aspect. I would argue most of them are frauds, maybe 95%, except Walker Dybel. Yeah, he wrote Buy Then Build. He's about the only one I've ever seen that seems legitimate.
You see so many people when they go into business, the first thing they always go, I'm going into business with the exit strategy or exit plan. Like, you didn't even build the damn thing yet, and you're already anticipating to sell it for $4 million. And I'm like, some of y'all watch Shark Tank too much and think it's like that. It's not like that at all. And 9.5 years in business has taught me that. Like, when I got into business, I was very upset that there was no good classes I could take to understand how to do anything in business. Like, I didn't know I needed a tax for this, a license for that, an inspection for this, a software for that. Like, it really gets into a lot, man. Oof.
It does. We've had so many people call over the years and try and get meetings with us, and they start telling us about their business that they have, and they're like, we think it's worth $5 million. It's like, all right, what's your sales like? Well, we've never sold anything. It's just like, well, what the hell are you calling me about?
Oh, yeah.
You got to be kidding me.
They think their idea is worth it.
Yeah. I have this whole platform that I built. It's like, well, it sounds to me like you've wasted a lot of time since you haven't grown it. You haven't had a sale. Why don't you implement it? Get it to that point, and then you can turn around and sell it for 7 figures, 8 figures, or whatever that number is. You see it time and time again, but Exit strategies are an interesting topic with people. And I personally don't see a lot of business owners, and you may be seeing something different, but I don't see a lot of business owners that actually have thought that far ahead. They get to a certain point where health comes up, family issues, or they're just burnt out, or they're looking to retire. They got to relocate, and those are the people that are contacting us to get out of their business. And sometimes it's honestly too late. They're like, my lease is up in 6 months. I didn't renew. I got to sell in 3. It's like, good luck. Like, I'll do my best, but you're probably not going to get there.
How long does it take to actually sell a business?
My go-to statement, because that is a question we get a lot.
I would assume.
I typically say 3 to 9 months.
Okay.
If it's fairly priced, if you're unreasonable, maybe never.
We do year-long listings.
Yeah.
And we definitely have a handful of listings that get to the end of a year, and you finally get them down on their price to where it's a realistic number. And, they'll sign an extension with you, and, it could be the next month or 6 months later that thing will sell. But we try our best to educate the sellers and, why we're pricing that business at this rate or at that price. And our marketing strategies are pretty vast compared to a lot of business brokerages. We have a big network. But it's really just about educating those sellers when it comes time to sell of, hey, this is your price. This is going to help you sell. I'm sorry, your business that you think is worth $1 million on a Main Street marketplace is just not.
Can I ask this question that I want you to ask yours, because just my mind pinged it there. How many hours do y'all estimate you spend educating a person on average to sell their business? And then you got how many hours you spend to actually sell the business? Are they two different things? They all in one? Meaning, how much time do you actually have to spend to ramp someone? It's like buying a house, right? How many houses you got to show? How many hours involved before you actually close the whole thing out?
I think that's a really good question. I've never been asked that, and I think it is kind of a twofold thing there. Those are two separate things, right? Like the selling of the business, that takes a lot of time.
Sure.
And it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of negotiations, and so on and so forth. Educating people on it, I mean, I've listed businesses the same day they've contacted me. Or sometimes it takes me a week or 2 weeks or a month. Or sometimes I don't even get that listing, and a year later they're like, hey, I really liked how you helped me on that. Thank you for giving me some pointers to run my business a little bit better, to make it a better profitable sale. And then they come back around. So there is sometimes some time spent with those people. But it's not dozens of hours. It's not,
Yeah, it sounds like my coaching space. People follow me after a content post that they'll be like, oh, I tried that supplement. It really works. I want to hire your coaching. Sounds like a lot of industries has some similarity in regards to how they find people and so forth.
Yeah. I mean, when you're talking working buyers, when you're talking going through closing, God, you might spend 20 hours on one deal a week just on that one to get it over. And it's week after week if it's a complex one. And then there's other ones that, tend to be a little bit simpler, and there's no way to know what's going to be, what in advance. It's about how good the buyer is. It's about how good the bank is. There's a lot of pieces to it. With the selling aspect, let's say someone reaches out to you and they're looking to sell. How do you know right away that, hey, this seller, they have it together. They know what they're doing. This is a solid business. What are those signs?
There's a few. When you're talking to a seller and they can tell you pretty much everything about their business off the rip, and they're not, and this and something over here. And I think that getting a hold of their financials tells everything right away. That is one thing that we definitely do. We'll have the initial conversation with them, go through some questions just to kind of learn their business model, right? What are the working parts in this? How many employees? Is it just you? Do you have a general manager in place, or is there somebody that can fill that role? And then we ask for the financials to put a valuation together. And really, those are what really tell you, because then you're looking at cash flow. You're looking at income management. What are they doing on marketing? Where are they hiring? Where are they spending their money? You see crazy things inside people's financials.
What's some crazy stuff you see? He goes on people about Venmo all the time.
I get on people in the personal training industry about that. But cleaning companies, when you have Venmo coming in and you're not tracking it, and then you want credit for that in a sale.
That would make some sense there.
Yeah.
So, okay, that makes sense.
But what are other ones that you see that are just wild?
I had a guy one time It was a mobile cleaning company. It was like a floor cleaning company, and I was going through his P&L, and there was a line item for, we'll call the name Spooky or something like that. And it was in all caps and inside of a P&L, and I'm like, "Hey, buddy, what the hell is Spooky for $12,000?" And he's like, "Well, I hope nobody would ever ask me this, but I pay my dog $1,000 a month." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "What kind of dog? Is it a protection dog? Like, what? Nope, it's a Chihuahua." I was just like, "Okay, yeah, you probably should take that out and put that money back into the company, because I don't know if anybody's going to actually look at this as a true ad back." You know what I mean? I've seen alimony. I've seen
Alimony.
alimony.
How do you put that in there?
Ask an accountant.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have sorry, Allison, you're fired. I have to find me one of them right off my shoes tomorrow.
I saw early on in my career a line item that said he had 2 rent line item expenses, and I was like, "Do you have another place that you're renting?" It was like at that time $1,200 a month, $1,300 a month, and he's like, "Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's actually for my girlfriend." And he's like, "My wife does not know. That's why I run it through my company." And I was just like, "That's too much information, man. I don't want to know."
Does that turn you off from wanting to sell a business? I would think that just gets it so convoluted. I'd be like, fuck, this gets messy.
It definitely sets a tone that this business probably isn't the cleanest business. These numbers might not be really what they are, those kind of things. And, we're not certified CPAs or accountants, so I can't really dig into it and give accounting advice and those kind of things. But you definitely see some things that are just leave you a little leery.
A little ick.
Definitely.
So, you're hitting on some of the things that, worry you again. Let's go back to other things in that initial conversation. Besides the financials, besides them being able to answer quick on numbers, what other questions you ask that people answer eloquently and that they know what they're talking about?
What their day-to-day looks like as a business owner. If they can't really give you a good idea and it's kind of scattered and all over the place, they're probably either burnt out and that's why they're selling. And then that business, again, is going to go back to the financials. They're going to be a bit of a mess, or, he can't keep employees on the job. He's constantly rotating. There's just a number of different things that all that can kind of lead to in your mind, right? And typically a decade in, I'm not really wrong on those. Those definitely stand out. But yeah, the ones that can't answer what they do day to day.
Now, when buyers reach out to you and they ask the questions, what are the most common, pitfalls? What are their most common concerns?
It usually comes down to the operation of the business, employment, financials. Ebbs and flows of businesses can really hurt depending on the industry. You get like a granite company I have for sale right now. They're just getting hit really hard because the building is slowed up a little bit just because of the climate, of the politics of the nation, of everything just kind of can play effect into it.
I think commercial real estate is going to be a tough one over the next few years, is what I'm guessing.
Look at Nashville's commercial real estate. I mean, anything downtown, any office space like that, it's like something like 20-something% empty, which is, especially in this town.
Oh, and they still say that their square footage is like $40. Like some have seen, "No, we'll get it." I'm like, good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want restaurant space or retail space in town, though, it's insanity. It seems like commercial realtors
What
just
is it for
pull
Nashville,
money.
so the audience has a perspective for what we're seeing here?
I mean, a small restaurant space in prime real estate in Nashville, not on Broadway because that's a different animal, maybe 50 a square foot.
Yeah.
Sure.
I've heard of North Gulch, some of the prices going for 60 or 70 a square foot for national chains that really want it in there.
All right. Well,
And you don't even want to know what Broadway is in Second Avenue.
Broadway, well, you got John Bon Jovi, Eric Church,
Yeah.
Morgan Wallen. You got all those investors.
You don't.
Those-
They don't actually
Yeah,
own
no,
them.
yeah, they don't have enough fuck you money to be able to get all that space
Yeah.
down there. I agree with that.
It's crazy. But yeah, and you've watched it change so much in the last 5 years. Because we do a lot of bars and restaurants. And you're seeing things. If you find something for $30 a square foot, it is not in a good spot. You do not want to put your restaurant or bar or food and beverage in that location.
Damn.
So, Jeff, I know, I mean, you've asked questions about this. Like, what do you see or how do you see this working, on other businesses I've looked at? Adam, if you were to talk to someone who's just saying, hey, give me top 3 things I need to do to fix my business or improve it, what would you give just any business owner?
Hire yourself out of a job. Hire some employees to take some of those responsibilities. You don't need to be the shop manager while trying to market and sell your company, while doing the sales of, X product, while trying to manage the financials, while also managing all the employees and then doing delivery drives. Hire out. It might hurt there in the initial, but long run, it's going to make your company more valuable. If you can be replaced, that's a value.
Yeah, I agree. That's the one thing I've done with my company. He knows, it doesn't need me. I get whacked by a bus tomorrow. It still keeps going. And I think that was the best thing I ever could have done, was trusting someone. And you have to go through people.
And it's hard.
You have to go through people, I'm getting ready to potentially take on more space, even maybe a new lease, potentially at different places. He's been in on it, advising me some stuff, giving me his thoughts. And I don't look at it as the pain of failure. I look at it as pain of, I got to form new relationships. I got to potentially go through more pain, more failure, more breakups, more this, more that, and that's what most people, I don't think, when you talked about getting to the burnout, I agreed with you 100%. If you get a business at the end, the person's very disheveled, I would assume they're completely burned out.
Yeah.
Because I'm not, and I'm still going strong, and it's because I've got a lot of people who take my load off of me, so I could think clear. Like yesterday, I was like, "Hey, I'm going for a drive. I got to think about this deal." Blah 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 blah. Cool. If I'll break through your D&D if I need anything important. Okay, Thanks. Bye. 3 hours ripping around in my Supra, and I have my conclusion. You know what I mean?
There you
go. 100%. I agree with you. Painful up front. You don't see as much money. But most people try to leave their business so quickly rather than working in the business with other people and then slowly stepping your way back out to where it's fun, where it's running at a complete operation like it should.
Yeah. I mean, absentee, truly quote unquote absentee owned businesses, we get people all the time asking for that. That does not exist. You as a business owner, you still need to have your head in the game. You still got to have the pulse, or your finger on the pulse. There's nothing absentee about small to medium sized businesses. But if you hire people to handle those jobs, you can definitely create some value for your business. And long run, like you said, it's going to show. The value is going to be there. You're going to get the growth. It's tough up front, taking a hit on your pay as the business owner to hire out for 2 new people to handle some jobs, right? Then you got to train them. Oh no, Susie fell out because she doesn't know what the hell she's doing. Got to hire another person. There's a lot of labor and pain in on it. It's tough. Another topic is marketing. Advertising. And if you're trying to get your business up there, spend the damn money. Spend the money.
Ah, man, we talked about last one, but me and him have talked about this back before. How would you know who Tony Robbins is if Tony Robbins didn't spend money to let you know who Tony Robbins was? Yeah, exactly. His man crush over there. Which Tony Robbins does great stuff, but he's just an example I use. How would you know about who he is?
He's a master marketing.
Right. How would you know who he is without him using marketing?
He'd just be some guy that sold books to me,
Bingo, 100%.
But he's one of the most influential people in business right now, probably even in history. I mean, he is incredible at what he does.
So what do you think a company that you see on general, what do you think their ad spend should be, and what should be the rate of return in general? Like, how are you budgeting that? Like, when you look at a company, do you go, ooh, that's an ugly number, that's not a good number on the marketing, or is it subjective in a business?
I think it could be subjective and really your target audience, right? Who are you trying to reach? Because different platforms cost different things.
Right.
I don't really spend a lot of money I don't spend any damn money on social media. Why would I?
You're like me, Google SEO. It's
100%,
way better hunt. Yep.
100%, because the average business owner is not sitting around, because most of them are baby boomer age or close. They're not sitting around on Instagram scrolling to see my damn ad. That makes no sense. To boost, of course we have it, but to boost a post or something, get out of here. I'd rather spend that money and double down on Google. I mean, and just work our keywords on SEO. That is a great ad spend. But to answer your question, if you got a business doing $500,000 a year in revenue, you better be spending $10,000, $15,000. I mean, without question.
A month?
No.
Yearly?
That'd be insane. But
I've seen some insane things out of the coaching space. Yeah.
If the ROI is that good. Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you read like Hermosi's stuff, he did like 40 grand in ads in like 30 days to be able to pop off 120 or whatever. So that's why I was curious what the X is
I
and
guess
all,
that would
all
be
the stuff
industry
is.
specific, right? But yeah, I mean, but if you see a business doing $1 million a year and they're like, well, we can't really get past this mark. And you look and they spent like $4,000 on advertising and marketing. It's like, well, there's your problem. You're trying to grow this to 2 million, but you're not doing anything to do it. Find somebody to help you on your Google. Hire it out.
I agree with that 100%. Do you have
Wait, what's the third thing that you tell a business owner? Hey, easy wins. Put this in place.
Clean up your financials if they're messy.
So does that mean hire an accountant? Does that mean do it yourself?
Hire a bookkeeper that manages it every day, every week for you. If you're big enough to do that, or, get you a good CPA that can balance out your statements at the end of the month and let you know where you're at and keep an eye on everything for you. I always say in our industry, a business can look like a beautiful, shiny gem. And if somebody gets into those financials and they see it a mess and there's all the stuff running through it and they're just sloppy, that'll make or break that business getting sold. I don't care how shiny that little toy is. Hands down, every time. And you can't push somebody off the fence to spend $500,000, $1 million, $2 million. If those financials are messy, it's a no-go.
We probably should split there and reset for a second.
So here's a question I always think about. To franchise or not to franchise when starting a new business?
Chick-fil-A, baby.
Yeah.
Crumble cookie. That's what we're trying. If anyone knows a crumble cookie, we want to buy in.
Crumble
right
cookie
now.
Those things are dangerous.
Yeah.
Very dangerous.
The serving size is a fourth of each cookie,
Oh,
right?
dude,
Or
they're like
something
1,200
crazy?
calorie
They're
cookies.
Yeah.
People eat 2 or 3 of them. I'm like,
Yeah.
Did you know you can go at the end of the night and they'll give you the leftover cookies for free?
Wait, what?
What?
Which one?
Any of them.
Any of them.
really? Only a business seller would know that kind of.
Oh, wait, we don't get to sell those, man. Those, they don't
I
list
will
that
never be a
stuff.
skinny man. Trust me.
If you have a problem with crumble cookies, you need to hire Jeff because you're going to have a lot of problems in the future.
Yeah, no shit. I'm available for coaching.
Yeah.
Franchise or not? Good question. I've sold some incredible franchises over the years. I personally would never go back into a franchise or invest in one. That's just me personally. Some models are great and some franchises are great. And it's just important to look at reputation and what those businesses do and what the average franchise does to kind of give you a point to get to, right? If you have franchises that some are absolutely crushing it and some aren't, that's tough. That's a real tough thing. And it could be market driven. It could be, the location of it, so on and so forth. But generally, I'm not a franchise guy. It's a personal thing.
So, person out there, you talked about the baby boomers, maybe some Gen X and so forth. They're going to be looking to buy at businesses. It's probably a better buy for them at this point if they haven't been investing in a 401k to potentially go for a business, right? So you would say not to do a franchise at that point potentially and to look at getting an actual business or look at something small to kind of go from there?
Let's qualify that real quick because I asked starting a new business, franchise or not, but maybe it's worth mentioning the difference in starting versus buying into a franchise.
Yeah, okay,
too.
maybe that's better said, sure.
Yeah, okay. Let's touch on that. So buying an existing franchise that's rocking and rolling and has a foothold in the market and has the sales, yeah. But I still go back to those points of, is that franchise good? Is the franchisor somebody you want to be in business with? Because at the end of the day, it's a partnership. Do they have the technology and the platform to help you grow and continue to grow? Are they checking in to make sure you're growing, right? Those are all duties of a franchisor. But to answer your question, Jeff, I think anybody coming into the market right now, unless they have a solid business plan in place and capital behind them to get their business off the ground, buy a business. It doesn't have to be glitz and glamour. I mean, we've sold businesses over the years that are making great money, that are scalable, that aren't overly expensive. They're under $250,000. You can get a loan on something like that. Why not buy something with a footing that already has a track record, that's already got sales and cash flow?
I actually think that's really smart. I don't have a business plan, never have in 9.5 years, so you guys would shoot me if I ever would sell my company.
I won't shoot you.
We've never really asked for business plans because it's kind of like Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Thank you, because
Business,
I
man.
told someone, I said,
Yeah.
and the reason I think I've been successful in business has been strictly I've adopted a Silicon Valley model. I'm very disruptive. I like to learn things fast. I like to break things fast. And I feel like if I had a business plan, I would go by that and I wouldn't be breaking things at the rate I should. And for me, with what I do, I think that's deadly in my industry with owning a gym. It's hyper competitive. I'm against a lot of businesses out there. So for me, I'm trying to figure out things quickly.
Yeah.
I think a business plan holds you too tight. My personal 2 cents. I know why you need one. I know some people need goals projects, but that's just me.
I agree with you on that. I'm not a business plan
Woohoo,
type of
smart
person. I do like having a overview. Right?
Sure.
Hey, I would like to get to this goal. What are some steps I could do to get me to that goal? But I'm not going to sit down and write a business plan and be like, this is what I'm going by, because the markets and things and industries change so much. I mean, look at social media over the years. People 10 years ago weren't planning their business model around social media. Now all of a sudden that thing's king for a lot of different industries. And you got to adapt. You got to go for things. You got to take risks. And I think I'm not a go by the book person. I like pushing the limits, but like if there's something in front of me telling me how to do it, I'm going to try and follow that. And that might not be the right move. And, trusting my gut and going off of that and saying, you know what? F this. I'm going to jump and see what I can do over here.
I agree with you 100%. I've stayed cash free and debt free company over my 9.5 years of being
Cash free company.
Cash free, literally, yeah.
Like, I've been running this thing.
Yeah. No, but I think that's an important thing. I think so many people they never start because they're looking for this perfect business plan. I'm like, it's never going to exist. Just you got to jump. Literally, Derek and I got told, hey, I'm closing this place in 30 days. You guys want it? I guess, or we don't have a place to train. And we just put it together, and day one, we're like, hey, cool, I guess we just go back to doing what we were doing. And then it slowly went from there. But I agree with everything you say.
Yeah.
Market, shit changes. COVID, they completely shut my doors on me. And I had to think about that differently. I could, perhaps maybe my doors were open in the back. But nonetheless, it is what it is. So I agree with that.
Your location.
Yeah, we won't tell my location. Everybody knows my location.
It's on a shirt.
Everybody knows my location. Me and Merrick Cooper, we go back. But no, I appreciate you saying that as actually a person who sells businesses, that this is not a quantifiable thing that someone has to have to actually go to be like, oh, I'm a valuable business or not. It doesn't mean shit.
Your business plan does not make you a valuable business.
Agreed.
It makes you somebody that probably put too much down on damn paper, and you're going to try and stick by it as much as you can instead of being adaptable. And in business, that is one thing. You got to be so damn adaptable. You're going to take hits. You got to adjust. You got to come back with something. You can't just roll over and be like, well, let me go back to this little thing that I wrote up and saying that this is the way it goes. It's not it.
100%.
So you started this business with Patrick. So you guys chose to be partners. That's also a huge decision in business. I went in, bought a company, have a couple partners. Jeff started his with partners. Tell me a little bit about, what you see, the partnership model versus individual, why you went one versus the other.
I didn't know what the hell business brokerage was, and Pat just brought it to me, and I said, cool, that sounds like a good idea.
Yeah.
No, Pat and I were friends for a handful of years before and had a great relationship and still do. Partnerships, man, that could be a loaded question if you really want to dig into it, because it's tough at times, because if you are a good partnership, you have your roles that you handle, and of course they cross over because you're both the business owner, right? But if Pat handles the back end of the business and I can handle the marketing and, hiring employees and those kind of things, and you take a role, it can be very beneficial to grow your business very quickly. But with that said, partnerships have disagreements. They may not always see eye to eye with what you're thinking, and vice versa. And that's something you have to have conversations about and communicate. There's nothing that Pat and I do that we don't communicate about. Hey, we're about to spend X on this video that we're going to do for some content. Is it cool if I spend this? Are you good with this? Yeah, man, absolutely. Like, that's our marketing. That goes on top of our SEO. That just drives business. And that's everything from CPAs of who we're choosing and who we're not choosing. You know, it's a partnership, and you got to be in agreement, or it's a no-go. That's something we set early on. I mean, literally in our partnership agreement, one of the bullet points in it is don't be a dick.
So did you guys like go into a room and like write your mission statement out, write your values out, and just kind of like do all that kumbaya stuff you see a lot of companies doing?
Absolutely not.
I love it.
I
This is a
mean,
real raw conversation.
You know,
I dig it.
I think Pat and I come from similar backgrounds where we've been given a lot of opportunities in our life, but we're not those spoiled people that feel entitled to anything. We've worked really, really damn hard to get this company where it's at, and you know, bring on agents and brokers like Jason and a handful of others to get them to a point where they're earning great money too, which all boats rise. And you know, I think coming from similar backgrounds gave us similar moral compasses. In it when it comes to doing business and our integrity and what we're about, and just staying on the up and up all the time, you can never go wrong. You know, you start trying to do some shady backhanded shit over here, it'll catch up. We've always operated with integrity. We've always operated with good ethics. And, you know, we've let a few people go over the years where it's just like, hey, you're just not it. Sorry. You're not meshing, you know? And I think Jason can attest to that. Everybody on our team has good intentions about everything, which is, I think, very, very important.
So going back to before you actually started the partnership, did you guys even sit down and have any conversation, or it's just, hey, let's do this, and you just intrinsically knew you trusted each other enough to go? Then I want you to answer this with Derek too.
Oh, I mean, twofold, I think. I mean, we definitely had conversations about it and what it would look like. I mean, he was about to pick up and move across the country to Nashville, Tennessee from San Diego. And I had already been here for 2.5, 3 years at that point. You know, so there was definitely some conversations, and, you know, I flew out and met with him and hung out. And obviously he was one of my best friends then and now. You know, but I did have that intrinsic trust with Patrick, with my life. I mean, there's nothing that I wouldn't do for him and vice versa. And that still holds true today. So, you know, picking a partnership is tricky. It could be friends that, you know, you just, hey, we get along and I think we could run a business together. Or it could be something like we were best friends and we got into it. Or hell, we see it in businesses all the time. It's like, I just need a partner on this, you know?
That was Derek and I. We were cool with each other, friends to a degree, but there was a line with us. We just knew we wouldn't fuck each other over too bad. Like, it was this weird line, like maybe little games, little fuckery, but never enough Brutusing each other. The partnership, him and I, though, we didn't do well because we were both visionaries together. So there was no integration, meaning nothing ever went forward. So once he passed away, the next person who I was working with, I got very lucky, and she ended up being a staff member, but she proved to be an integrator, and that allowed my company to really go at that point. And then later on, I gave her ownership as far as sweat equity goes, which is, you know, for me, the right thing to do. But I agree with you. When it comes to partnership, you have to have all these conversations. I know me and him were going to do something together, and I knew how he approached business. I was like, that's an easy decision. Yeah. But I think you really have to know. Like, I don't think he would have gotten into business with me if he didn't see how I handled Iron House, and I don't think I would have gotten in business with him if I didn't see how he handled other things. And 100%. I think you have to have time like that, or at least if you want to go in business, people do your due diligence research. Ask about how those people are. How do they? What's their idea of a good day? What's their idea of a bad day? What does leadership look like? What does an honest conversation look like? Some people can't handle direct, and you just got to be like sweet with them. And other times, I prefer the whole, hey, you fucked me. This is the issue. I want to fix this. Okay, thank you. Yeah. Move on. You know what I mean? I think those are the dynamics you have to talk about when you talk about a partnership. 100%. A marriage, basically.
And contracts.
Contracts. Okay, go over that. Contracts. Go over that real quick then.
You know, it's everything for you. You know, in business, get an attorney, get everything buttoned up. You know, there's so many different businesses out there that there's not necessarily a contract in place between you and your customer. But between me and Patrick, there's contracts in place. We started a business together. There's splits on the business. There's operation agreements. There's so many things that you got to have in place that protect you, one, and it protects them if you're in a partnership, but also if you're not and you're an individual that just started a business and you're going out there and you're providing a service and you want to lock somebody up on contract, man, make sure those things are great. Have good contracts with your employees, have good NDAs, just spend the time. Don't just pull it offline and be like, this is a good contract. It's not. There's so many loopholes in law, which we have learned so many times over the years selling businesses. Get a damn attorney. Get somebody good that not only is going to take your money because they're an attorney, but that they're going to have they're going to have your back, and they're going to put everything and think about everything to button you up.
I'm super curious because we all are in some form of partnership. I mean, you two both have one partners, I have two, but in my experience, most businesses I'm selling are single owner. Sure. The vast majority. I don't know if that's a generational thing or even the buyers approaching me. It's pretty rare that it's groups. It's almost all individuals, and I have no idea why.
I don't have an answer for that.
Yeah.
I see it too. I mean, we're obviously in the same business, but yeah, you get a lot of individuals, and then occasionally you'll get a partnership.
I think it was just easier back then to grow a business by yourself, to a degree.
You get a husband and wife team maybe, but not,
Nowadays, like, we go into business, we immediately now think about a different landscape than they did. You got social media, marketing, videography. Like, how deep do you really want to go down these lines on your business, what you're creating? And a lot of them were created 20, 30 years ago, if I'm not wrong. So, I mean, like you said, 10 years ago, we weren't having this conversation. We were about social media. No. Even 10 years before that, it didn't exist. Facebook came on about 2008. So, I mean, it's these businesses. I just think it have been easier. And I think back then you had no one trusted each other mentality in business. There wasn't really a whole, hey, let's try to really cross the aisle per se and try to collaborate. And I think that millennials brought that into the work dynamics, especially in the last 10 plus years. A lot more collaboration is way more sought after by 30-year-olds, especially 20-year-olds now.
Oh, yeah. I wholeheartedly agree on that.
You think it's millennials that brought that in?
I do. I don't think I'm Gen X. I don't think we were cool with each other, but we weren't collab with each other. I mean, that's just how I feel. I mean, I'm 43 going 44. I feel like we were like, hey, we're cool, da-da-da-da-da. But collaboration was still a little bit of like maybe, where the millennials were a little bit more, I don't know, maybe there's like maybe some more connectedness there. I just don't know. That's just my take on it.
Probably started from video games.
Maybe.
Yeah, we got to chat with each other, play Mario Kart, whatever. Business industries, which ones are you in love with, or specific types of businesses that you think, man, if I was going to go out and start one tomorrow, this is it?
Pause.
So what are industries that, if you could, you'd get into? Industries that you love or businesses that you love?
No, we didn't take a break there, audience.
Yeah.
I used to always want to be in a bar and restaurant, right? That's the cool, glitzy thing that everybody can do. Start a speakeasy or something back in Nashville, back when Nashville didn't have them.
We still don't. They're all lame.
I know. They're terrible. But as I got into selling bars and restaurants, I learned real quick that I could probably make more money selling them than ever owning one, or even multiple. I think anything in manufacturing's always attracted me, just because I like to see how things work and get put together. I think those industries are really cool. I like the blue collar kind of jobs. I'm a hands-on kind of person. I wouldn't be mad at a construction company, probably in the commercial sector, and not even a ground up commercial company. There's some out there that we've sold over the years that do the interior framing and the drywalling and those kind of things. And I think they're just great companies. Plus, every single one of those guys drives a big, cool truck. So
I hope my camera's on when I ask this question. Do you think that blue collar is one of the biggest industries that's going to be, that you should be looking to buy right now as we get, because of what the industries are going to be over the next 10, 20 years?
Yeah. I mean, your tech companies and all that kind of stuff, they're just, Nashville's not a market for that. And really a lot of the Southeast isn't, but other than Chattanooga and kind of the North Alabama. But the blue collar companies are typically the ones that are our bigger deals. They're the highest valued companies that we have. We've sold a handful of construction companies over the years, manufacturing. Those guys are out there getting their hands dirty. and they're always in the $1 million and up sale prices. I think those are very sexy businesses, and they're going to continue and always be there, even with the ups and downs and ebbs and flows of, markets and crashes and things like that. Building's always going to come back. Manufacturing has to be there. Anything with infrastructure or those kind of things, that's always going to be there. People are always going to want their lawn cut, or their house painted. Those kind of industries, they're not going anywhere.
I met Adam actually. So Adam and Patrick, one of them was repping a fence company.
Oh, that was Patrick.
Yeah, and I absolutely love that. That industry is so simple, so basic. It's not going to get replaced by AI. There's no technology that's going to take you out of that. Maybe design, maybe making it easier to bid, but not actually installing a damn fence.
That was a great company.
Yeah, I still love it. And my problem at that point was I wasn't ready mentally to pull the trigger.
Me and Pat almost pulled the trigger on that business.
You told me that later.
We were like, this is an attractive business. We could pull this off.
Yeah.
And literally the day we were about to sit down and put together an offer, we got a full price offer on it. And I was just like, well,
yeah,
it's for the best. Let's continue to grow our business. And now they moved in behind our office. You
yeah.
see that?
I think that's a really good point you guys bring up. In a day and age where AI is eliminating things like I've never seen. Literally, it took out a videographer's position in my company.
They're coming out of business brokerage.
Okay, that's me like owning a gym. I'm like, well, thank gosh. I mean, there's going to be nothing that could take that away from me to a degree. What do you mean they're coming out of business brokerage? And I guess my next question is, how disruptive will AI be to businesses overall? Is this something that I, as a business owner, better start learning and getting prepared for, or whatnot?
I think AI, let's touch on business brokerage. There's a company out of Australia, and I don't know the name of it. Don't even care because they're not even on my radar yet. But I've heard that they're trying to get into matching the buyers to a perfect business through AI, and basically you go through and answer a bunch of
Sounds like dating. It sounds like it already going to fail.
What was it? Not Match.com with the one before that?
eHarmony?
Yeah, it's like eHarmony for businesses. It's like all these things and how you match them. I don't think that's going to be scalable on the large market. And even if it is, there's so much that we do day in and day out, even with the real estate side of it and the business brokerage side of it. There's a lot of damn hand holding. There's a lot of negotiations. AI is not going to be able to take away the human aspect of selling a business and making those connections and going to business meetings and buyer-seller meetings and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not too worried about it in our industry. I'm sure there'll be some disruption. But there's a lot of great platforms out there that can help us write ads and do some marketing for us and stuff like that. So, I'm not open to utilizing it if it makes sense for our business. And then, the future of AI, it's a scary thing. Who knows? It's endless possibilities for so many different industries. But, I haven't really had it come up in any business deals yet. I don't think it's...
I think it's being hyped too much on the business side. I think where it's really hitting its phase is the content creation, like podcasting. Yeah. You're seeing it like in your medias, but I think you're still 10 to 20 years away before it really starts touching into businesses where there's actually like, oh, this is actually a section of my business on my P&L for AI or something like that.
Sure.
I've yet to see a business owner who mentions using AI to make them more efficient, which actually shows you there's a huge opportunity. If you want to gain efficiency, use the AI tools and you'll surpass 99% of your competition.
You just got to have initiative and you'll surpass 99% of your competition.
I even think like recording phone calls and having those transcribed, then you have those notes easily to go back to. Simple things like that would be amazing if you're, someone who's building content, trying to find things for social media, record all your customer calls. Pretty easy.
Or you bring on a broker like Jason that has a lot of really good ideas, and then he just tells you, and then he's like, why don't we do it this way? And I'm like, well, me and Pat have not ran our business that way for 10 years, but yeah, let's give it a go,
Yeah, but I think that's what you do. I mean, like in business, if you want to stay agile, if you read any of the books, especially Good to Great by Jim Collins, it's a whole display of the businesses that all died because the visionaries stopped seeing the vision for the company. And that's usually when they get very insulated, very withdrawn, and don't have a pulse either on customer, staff, or both.
Yeah, 100%. And that brings me all the way back to that topic we were talking about earlier of hiring the right people that match your company. He's our top broker this year by a landslide.
I don't get that at all. No,
I don't either, because most people don't like talking to him on the phone.
I don't like talking on the phone. That's the funny part.
I can't see him talking on the phone
I'm
for
kidding,
shit.
But,
Yeah.
you know, he has so many qualities that are great for this type of industry. And it's nice to have, you know, he started out looking at businesses, and then all of a sudden he's like, well, hey, are you guys hiring? And I was like, well, yeah, let's have a conversation. I've had multiple conversations with him on the phone or through email and stuff like that on other businesses he was looking at back in the day. But, you know, hiring people that can give you some vision, you know, or do have good ideas, because for so long, it was just Pat and I, you know, and you're kind of stuck in your little way of the way you do things. And we had a big change this last year that he went through with us that, you know, made us shift and implement a lot more stuff. We've grown tremendously over the last few years, and it was time we start really stepping it up and keeping up with it. And it's made us more efficient as a firm, and definitely freed up a lot of our time from sending non-disclosures. So,
Well, that's not anything in particular that any other brokerage firm couldn't do, right? No. It's just taking the time, looking at it, and being open to change, which is probably true for every business owner. They get stuck in their ways. They just stop changing, where it's that mentality, hey, I could get better even though this works.
Yeah. Well, I mean, our competition's gotten stronger out there over the years. You know, when we started 10 years ago, there was only a couple business brokerages here in Nashville, and a couple of them are still around, but their reputations aren't great and their processes aren't great.
Yeah, but the competition made you better.
Oh, of course.
I agree. I think competition makes you better. I like it. Now, when more gyms enter the space, I'm like, fuck yeah, there's going to be better trainers, better access to potential managers, better access to integrators.
Yep.
Most people, everybody's a visionary. Get on social media. It's full of them. The integrators aren't the one on social media. That's how you can't find them for your company.
Sure.
But the integrator is what makes it move. And that's been why I've been really trying to identify going forward in companies.
Yeah. There's an ironic piece to what you just said, which is everyone's a visionary, but no one has the balls to do it, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I have all these ideas. Like when I bought this recent business, everyone told me 100 ideas they had to expand. And it's like, then why the hell didn't you buy this? Like, you knew I was looking
I
at
didn't
this.
tell you one fucking idea to expand. You can never get me on record that I ever told
No.
you one idea.
No.
Because you know why? I legitimately tell this story all the time. A woman who's like my mom, my gym was these shitty gray white walls. And I said, I'm going to paint them black.
Yeah.
She said, you paint them black, you can lose all your... Literally, it was like almost like a very intense conversation. I did it, and everybody's like, God, this gym looks great with the walls black.
Yeah.
But everybody will tell you owning a business, and sometimes like I have to tell my wife that, like, we'll be talking, so she's just like, she's like, oh, I'm like, yes. I'm like, all day long, people pull me aside and tell me what I'm doing wrong in my business. And I'm like, why the fuck didn't you open up a gym and go do this then if that was the case? You know, and I don't mean to be a dick or sound ungrateful, but it's like, I'm the one who like sits in the shower once a week going, holy shit.
Yeah, the stresses of owning.
You
Yeah,
know
I don't
what I
need a
mean?
million
Like,
input.
yeah.
I mean, I definitely do it to Adam and Patrick. I don't say, hey, we could be doing this better, but I'm like, hey, I came across this idea. This is what I
Which
think
is
might
great.
work. Yeah.
He's a researcher, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy can find anything, and he digs, and he's
The
studious.
court cases against our competition who are getting sued for
Hey, me and him are the same thing. Like, he knows it took me 56 hours to figure out the YouTube thing. I literally just got up at 2:30 in the morning for literally 3 weeks straight for an extra hour early just to work at it. Chipped away, figured out what I wanted to know, and boom, got my answers and went about it. So
There you go.
I respect that. You have to have that in your company.
You have to.
Yeah, or otherwise you're going to get left behind because the internet's adding 1 billion articles every day.
Yeah, it's insane.
So
I was just thinking in my head that I bought this company and I needed to rebuild a carburetor day 2, and I just put on a YouTube video. It was 96 degrees outside that I was working on this thing, and it took me 3 damn hours. It's like, is anyone else going to do this? Probably not. All right, so I'm going to do it to make sure I stay
You
ahead.
got to do it.
Yeah.
I just think when people own a business, they don't want to tinker in it. They don't want to do. They don't want to do anything. They just want to like just kind of like hope it runs. You know what I mean? And I'm like, if you're not always thinking about ways to get better at it or ways to improve it, or at least understand what your competition's doing, you're gonna get left behind. I don't know about you all. I don't really care too much about my competition, but I do understand what they're doing, so that way, like, I can see things that potentially I didn't want to see or I need to know that are coming ahead. But I don't focus down on them as they're my goal to beat them. I focus on them in the sense of where were they doing so that way I know to make my pivots against?
100%. I can't agree with you more. I know they're there, the competition. I don't give a shit about them. I really don't. I've even turned down like clients that have come to me and be like, well, so and so down the street would do it for 7%. I was like, you know what? I'll give you his number. You can call him back. I'll talk to you in 3 months. I have told people that. And either it goes two ways. They stop trying to leave and it's not about money all of a sudden, or they do leave and I talk to them in 3 months. And then all of a sudden they're my client. They're like, how'd you know this was going to be this way? It's because I know my competition. I've watched them in this market. I've heard people talk about them. I've shopped them before. At this point, I don't need to shop them anymore. Go do it. You're going to be severely disappointed.
I feel that way. I feel when you got a product that speaks for itself, reputation, just is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not that the firm's perfect, but
No.
I tend to think about when's the last time we had a conversation within the firm that said our competition's doing this, we should match it. We've never had that conversation.
I don't think we've ever had that. I don't think Patrick
And
and,
it's
I have ever had
it's
that.
because like the innovating is just happening at the firm, and no one cares what's happening anywhere else. We're innovating internally, and then we move faster than they can even keep up with.
Yeah, and to the point. I mean, being a business owner, you're never perfect. You're
Yeah.
going to miss on things. You're not going to see opportunities because you're trying to run a company or, you're trying to train up, a couple new agents at a time. That stuff takes your mind off of a lot, right? And you can kind of get lost behind. And, we've been on such a run lately. I was like, man, it's like trying to just catch up to a speeding train. There was so much change going on all at once that it was exhausting. Like, I mean, I would have days where I was just like, I can't even make another decision. Like, literally, I would come home and my wife would be like, what do you think about? I'm like, I literally can't, my head won't make another decision. And to have people in place that can help you with that, or, just simply work hard and not care all the time about every single detail and get to it when you can. That's a lot of being a business owner. And back to the competition, I just don't care what they're doing. We're doing it our way. We're growing at a pretty good clip. And I think any business owner out there that gets too focused on what's the Michael Phelps quote? Like something about like if you can see your swimmer, you're looking at the swimmer. So I can't remember it. Anyways,
Yeah, if you can see I know what you're talking about. You're already behind.
You're already behind.
Like yeah, I know.
Yeah.
The quote, yeah.
Why are you focusing on that? Focus on growing your own shit. Focus on growing your business, and that's going to make you better. As long as you're doing it right.
All right. Last one of my final questions I have. When a person's selling their business, how many of them are single and how many of them are married? Like, meaning, like, how many of them, like, lost their, like, sad stories?
I have never, ever paid attention to that, but, man.
I'm just curious about that because I would think, like, maybe in my case, like, down the road, if I ever wife died or some weird shit, I'd just be like, like, I would, like you guys say, people just get to the end, the burnout. I'm just curious how many, like, they actually, because to me, with my expansion, I've had to have a conversation with myself. My commitment to fucking not losing has to be greater than anything I've ever gone through in my entire life. And that means another metamorphosis, which means I could lose either friendships or myself in this. And I want to know how many people have actually lost themselves by not being aware of the pitfalls that actually are ahead of you in business.
That's a big question.
Yeah, the boomer generation, I almost see it as they build together. Husband and wife team really build
That's
together.
super cool. You don't see that anymore.
Yeah. So I don't see it that often in that generation. Beyond that, I can't think of someone saying, oh, yeah, I'm divorced because I got too invested, but I've never asked. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never asked. I mean, there's clearly some people you go to meetings and you notice, like, they're a single person, He's talking about having to go pick his kids up for the weekend or something comes up, in conversation. But it's generally speaking, I'm not sitting there and be like, is this person married?
Yeah, you hear about that though. You have these guys like, oh, I gave my whole life to my company and da-da-da-da. You read all the time in the books. I'm like, was that really the best call? Do you know what I mean? Then you usually read about all the regrets that fall through the next 200 to 400 pages.
Work-life balance.
Yeah, I just think you see these rare extremes that these people try to capitalize to say the business was so... Entrepreneurship is glamorized so much for the highs and the lows, and I'm like, It's just like anything else. It's got its good, bad, and you just got to be willing to ride the wave. You either ride the wave of entrepreneurship or you ride the wave of corporate America. It's A or B.
It's A or B. And, I think that goes back to communication with your partner, right? I mean, if you can communicate with your partner, hey, I'm going into this, and this is going to require me to do X, Y, and Z to get it to that point. Are you along for this ride? That's a huge thing. And, having a person that's got your back or that's involved in your business, because we do see that a lot, husband and wife teams. That's a huge factor. But yeah, putting in that extra work, and having to spend more time on your job or your company to grow it is strenuous across the board, across all relationships, friendships, husband, wife, all the way across. It's tough. So yeah, I get it. Doubling down again and being like, hey, I'm going to push for this expansion. That could cause some stresses other places. So,
100%.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate you answering that honestly, because I've always thought that some of that stuff I read was overhyped bullshit. I'm like, man, you can strike me as a pyro anyway. And I used to be that way. I like to burn my life to the ground. It was fun. But, eventually you kind of outgrow it. We got the final about 8 to 10 minutes left. So, Robo, I'm going to kind of let you wrap it up with your bud here on this one.
So you guys actually both got married after you started your businesses, right? As well?
Yes.
So they knew
correct.
what they were getting into?
Yeah, and I'll be honest. I think in my case, I'd love to hear your in on this. I think it was just her just kind of being like, I told her, I was like, look, I tattooed my hands years ago. I tattooed my neck. I don't know anything else for 19 years. I look at business like if I lose it all tomorrow, I still have nothing else to do the next day. I still have to just keep going. So to me, that's just how it is. And she kind of gets that about me. She knows that the risk, I would never do anything to put us without a roof over our house. And I think that there's certain barriers I put, like maybe break points, bottom lines, foundation, like, hey, you don't have to ever worry about this. This is what the savings account will always be. And I would pack it up and talk to Robo about selling it long before I would ever let it get to full bankruptcies and everything else and shit like that. I think having an honest conversation with your partner about the escape strategy is very vital too.
I mean, you have a ton of equipment too, which makes it way better.
I know. Robo goes through my gym now, and he's like
I can put value to this.
he's like looking at other gyms. He's like, shits on Jeff's gym. Shits on this.
I mean, I have 3 or 4 listed, Jeff. Expansion opportunities.
Yeah, growth through acquisition, man.
Oh
Yeah.
The problem is, and I think you guys are going to see this. I think the problem of the next 10 years, I think the greatest currency is going to be employees 40 to 50 are going to be the greatest currency an employer can get right now. Because the people under 35, no offense, you guys really don't know how to work beyond 40 hours. There's a lot about, there's like weird shit that goes on. It is. It's tough to find good talent is what I guess I'm getting at. I get you need to have a bench, and I get you need to have a 6-man, and I get this and that. But fuck, it's hard to find a damn wide receiver, a tight end, and a halfback to kind of move the ball 5 yards sometimes.
Well, and that's because of the culture that Instagram and social media is
I agree.
created. Me saying it's tough out there, I meant for those younger people, they don't know how to work hard. I'm sorry, but they don't. I think people 35 and older get it. We're 80s babies. We saw our parents work hard. We lived through the 90s watching them hustle and grind to get everything that they could. And I think you're right. The 40 to 50-year-old person is going to be the clutch employee in the next 10, 15 years. That's going to be somebody that's valuable. You're going to have to pay for it.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Let's go back to when you graduated school. So Azusa Pacific what would you have done differently with the knowledge you have now when you graduated?
It's a great question. Out of college, I went to work for Enterprise Rental Car in their management training program. Basically, I applied all over it.
Why'd you put that in air quotes?
I'm going to shit on Enterprise for a minute. I was basically vacuuming cars in a tie, right? In the middle of this little podunk town. I'm not going to name it. Love the town. But it was outside of San Diego a little bit, and I was put up at a satellite location. Pat, my business partner, was my assistant manager, right? And me and him hit it off and would play hooky and go surf and just leave work and be like, we're going to the beach. But, it taught me working an individual satellite location about business, right? I got to manage my own fleet I could work the rates of the rental cars that I want. I could run weekend specials to get more cars off the lot, that included their additional insurance and all those kind of things. And those kind of metrics were how you moved up in enterprise, right? So it was kind of like running a small little business that wasn't mine, but it was, because that's how I got to grow. And then going from there to doing marketing for a law firm to, outside sales and logistics, again, just managing accounts, working with clients, those kind of things. That's one thing that I think I did right. I think you asked what I would do differently. Mm-hmm. I probably would have tried to stick with one company a little bit longer than to kind of bounce around, but I was the free spirit. I left enterprise to go travel to South America, right? And we did that for 3 months, but that also taught me a ton about life and life experiences. So would I do it all over again? Yeah, I'd probably do it the same, but I'm a person that doesn't look back and say, oh, I would have changed that. I did it and I'm here. So
I'm going to ask my final question, because I know we're in the last couple minutes. If you were giving me anyone advice on how to sell their business, would it be like sell it with no regrets, or build it for everything that it's worth and then sell it? Because I think it's two different mindsets.
It's two different types of sellers.
Okay.
You get people that are coming in and selling their business a little short. It's not as big as they could have got it to or wanted it to get to, or it was, and now they've let their foot off the gas. And then you love those entrepreneurs that come in and be like, man, I ran the hell out of this thing. Look at this company. And you're like, great business. Coming in to sell your business, come to Nashville Business Brokers. Let us sell it.
What's your website?
NashBB.com.
Okay, good.
Nashville Business Brokers, but NashBB.com. Just get your business together. Put it in order. We send out social media tips on how to do that, and get your financing together, get your employees in order, gear your business up that it's running fluid to sell, right? Don't come with me and be like, here's this beater old car, sell it. That's a real hard thing to do. And those are the people that typically have the highest expectations of you selling their business, which is the funny thing, because it's like, man, you handed me a piece of shit. Hand me the nice thing, And if you're going to start a business, take some pride in it. Run that thing. That's because it's going to take a lot out of you.
Last question for you is tell folks how to switch from a job to a business again, because we've hit on it in 3 different areas. You hit on it again, but I want to reinforce this point because it's what we see every day. Someone comes to us and says, sell my business. We're selling a job.
Yeah, depending on the business, right? I think, and that's a good question. Your landscape companies or your, small team, one-man operations where that owner's still out there doing a lot of the work, that's selling somebody a job, right? Whoever's going to buy that's going to buy it and jump into that role. So they may be coming from a similar industry, saved up enough money, or they're getting a loan somewhere and they're buying themselves a job to make it their own. And I've never met one business owner or one buyer that has bought a business that said, no, I'm really good right where this business is. I'm not going to grow it. They always say like, oh man, I see this because there's opportunity, right? They're not buying it to stay stagnant. So they're buying it to grow that thing. They'll probably come back around and sell it. We see that all the time. And what's crazy is I ask sellers now, and I learned this from Pat's dad. It's like, well, what are you going to do after you retire? What are you going to do after you sell this business? Oh, I haven't thought about that. Then you're not a motivated seller because you have no idea what you're about to do. And the people that come to you and say, I'm selling because of X, Y, and Z. I have a plan. I'm going to go start another business. Those are the great sellers.
So Adam, tell everyone where they can find you.
Again, www.nashbb.com, Nashville Business Brokers. We're all over Instagram with the same handle. But yeah, you can find us there.
Do you guys do all throughout the U.S.?
We can, other than those licensed states.
Okay.
But
cool.
yeah.
We have resources if someone's in those licensed states that we can connect you with.
Sweet.
But
Yeah.
the Southeast, prime market for us.
Dude, thanks for taking the time to come chat with us. I know I met you a couple weeks ago when we went shooting together and all that. So thanks for chatting. Hopefully we get you back on and talk about some more. But be sure to like, share, subscribe, show them some love. If y'all know anyone who's struggling in business and definitely needs a hand, we all do. Give them some love. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you next week. See ya.